computer. There we
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the WPD podcast. We're on episode 20, How Time Flies When You're
go. Yeah.
Having Fun.
Whoop,
Um,
whoop.
so, so in this one, we're just going to do a bit of a Q&A, and then we're just going to be a little bit of update on me and Ro and where we're at with our off seasons and stuff. But our main little subjects today were just the Q&As that we popped on our stories. Just some good questions that been asked by you lot. So we're just going to run through those. But Ro,
Yeah.
how's off season going? How are you feeling? And everything in that.
I think it's fair to say off season has chewed me up and spat me right back out again. I
Yeah,
am
yeah,
like, I check in with Tom tomorrow and it's going to be like, please, can I start prep? I know it's like a million weeks, but I can't eat anymore.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and sort of chatting it through with Dan, it's like, yeah, I could prep in 16 weeks,
yeah,
but actually, why not give myself a bit of a longer runway, especially with work? And it's so stressful at the moment. So I know
yeah,
that there's going to be like some water held from it and that sort of thing. So I
yeah.
don't know, but hopefully I will be flying abroad in
Mate, that's
20
so
20 to
exciting. So
21 weeks time.
yeah, mate, that's so. If you, are you happy to disclose your
Yeah,
shows?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not
So
precious about it.
what
Mainly
shows
because
are
I'll
now
forget
on?
that I'm keeping it
Oh,
as a secret.
yeah. So so just be like, oh, sorry, I wasn't supposed to be talking about
Yeah.
them. So what are the shows now? What's the plan?
So we've luckily been given like quite a nice bonus from work to be able to try and get people in to clear the backlog of 999 calls that we built up over Christmas.
Yeah.
So with that, it kind of changed the ball, and I'm able to compete like stateside.
Mhm.
Dan's got a client. Right, sorry, two secs. I've got a very demanding French bulldog.
Oh.
um, yeah, so Dan's men's physique pro is he's competing in Toronto. It just makes more sense that if I'm going
Yeah.
to do a stateside or like that kind of way show, to save us money in the long run as a couple, to do if I can do the same show as him, to do it. And
Yeah.
there is a
Yeah.
WPD category. Otherwise, it's like Dan's going to Canada. I can't go because I can't afford it and I'm on prep. To then do, I was looking at either Puerto Rico or Chicago.
Yeah.
So to then cough up a load more money for that, it it would have just been an unnecessary extra
Yeah.
expense. So,
Yeah.
and
That's
Toronto
it.
sounds cool.
Toronto's supposed to be a really good show. I think Josh Bridgman did that one last year, and then
Yeah,
he
he
went
did,
to
didn't
another
he?
show.
Mm.
And it like because I am denied about doing it as well, but it's just a little bit too early in the season for me.
Yeah, you've
So
hardly
yeah,
just sort of come off prep, really, haven't you? Well,
that's it exactly. So in the grand scheme of things, anyone people would be like, "Oh my god, you came off prep like middle of last year," and I'd be like, "Well, still too soon." So you know what I mean.
yeah, you've
So
got to.
it's supposed to be a very good show. I've heard very good. I don't know what the prize money's like. Probably the same as every other show, like
Yeah,
1 or 2 grand.
don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see with
Yeah.
that, won't we? But
Because have you paid for your IFBB membership yet?
no,
No, neither have I.
I'll probably I'll probably do the flights and the hotel first because
Yeah.
that's obviously the big dollar.
Hmm.
And the pro card I could kind of scrape together by doing like save through doing blood work stuff
Yeah,
because
that
that's like
sounds
a
good.
nice little 20 quid here and there.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
and
this is
then
the thing with the WPD shows becoming less and less, and obviously like with everything that's been going on, like the Boston Pro not being a thing anymore, even though WPD wasn't a part of Boston anyway, it seems that we're having to travel further and further to do these bloody shows, and like it seems to be, I don't know whether you've noticed, Ray, that a lot of these women physique girls are now moving up to bodybuilding. Granted, some of them needed to because they were just big girls and they just have a stature for bodybuilding, but
yeah,
even like the figure girls are getting bigger now. So it seems that like physique is either merging up or down. Like
yeah.
it's just really hard to decipher between what is what anymore.
I mean, for example, I don't feel that I'm actually going to look that out of place. So I'm
What
also
in,
going to do the UK Pro Show as
yeah,
figure,
yeah,
mainly because it means my family can come because a lot of them won't be able to travel, won't either be able to afford it or won't be allowed in the country because of their vaccine status.
yeah.
So the whole like Tom was like, "You want to do what?" But it's like literally, it's just for fun. Um,
Yeah.
but I also don't think that I'm going to look too out of place.
No, I don't think you will either. I think you'll
No,
sit quite nicely actually in Aero.
yeah.
Because
We'll
they're just, I
see.
saw a picture of a figure girl the other day and was like, oh my fucking god, she's huge. Like,
Mm,
her
yeah.
shoulders are massive.
I
Oh,
suppose
wow.
in a way, figure tends to be a little bit like men's physique in that we are, like I say, we not figure anymore, but those wide clavicles.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're not necessarily thick; they're just wide.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But we'll see. But yeah, it's just a shame because we just obviously we don't really care about the money side of things, blah blah blah. But it's still we still have to have the money behind us to be able to travel. Like I don't even really know how many Europe shows have WPD in anymore. Like I on it 3 out of how many, do you know? It must
not
be like
sure
seven
because I
or eight.
obviously haven't gone through and looked through all
I
the
think
different.
yeah, the calendar hasn't been fully updated yet anyway, because it still says Olympia for the last at Las Vegas. So that's still not been updated when it's not in Las Vegas, it's on Orlando.
Yeah, because there's Portugal, Alicante, Romania.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Will you stop squirming?
Ruby, such a squirmer.
Yes,
But
yeah,
yeah, so we either have to like put out a load of money or do a Europe show, and that be maybe even too early in the season or too late because obviously Romania is after Olympia, so
yeah.
obviously it qualify you for 2024.
I
So
mean,
it's yeah.
originally thought about doing Romania, but now with the thought of doing Toronto, that's a long time to be
Oh,
on
it's a
prep.
long old time on prep, that isn't it?
Yeah, which
Consider
is a shame
Romania's
because I
like in
would have liked
November.
to have done Romania, but
Romania's supposed to be a very good show, to be fair,
mm,
very good show.
mm,
But it's just mad, isn't it?
mm.
Mad,
How
but
about you
we'll
though?
see.
What's your thing? What's going on?
So yeah, I'm getting to that point now where it's like force feeding food, but it is what it is. You know what we do? We just get on with it, don't we? Like it's just luckily like I've been on macros now for the last like couple of years. My off season, granted, I don't eat shit, but like, and it's probably if anything what Tom would give me anyway. But it's easier to move things around if I can't sit and eat a meal of chicken and rice or something like that. So like if I'm really not feeling chicken and rice, I'll just swap it out for whey cream of rice, make a big shake, and then just have a shake instead just
Mm,
because like the idea of sitting down and eating another meal when you're already full is just like, oh, so I'd rather just fit the calories in a shake and just drink it if I'm like busy. Like the other day I literally had like 5 meals, 3 of them were shakes because I was so busy, just like, oh, I
yeah,
gotta get out, bosh
'cause
bosh
it's
in a shake, drink it, get out.
when you're at that point with food, nothing goes down quickly. So it can be
Exactly.
like 45 minutes to eat meal. I was at
Yeah.
work the other day, and admittedly, I was trying to work at the same time, and it was an hour to eat chicken and rice. And then it's like, oh, hour and a half's gone. I get to eat
Yeah.
all over
Time to
again.
eat again. Yeah.
Oh,
But you know
yeah,
what? Like, I wouldn't change it for the world. We love what we do. Like,
yeah,
and I finally hit like 81 kilos the other morning, which like for a 5'4" girl is like it's quite heavy. Like, and I'm starting to feel it as well. Like I did my blood pressure, my blood glucose, everything, and that's absolutely fine. Like it's where it should be. But like walking around now, I even said to Leeds the other morning, I was like, fuck me, I'm feeling heavy now. Like
yeah,
just doing shit is just like, and I said I sat on the sofa just before looking like just scrolling through Instagram as you do, and you see like women sort of if they're like women who are a little bit taller, like 5'6", 5'7", at 70 kilos, and you're like, fucking hell, like put this in perspective, how big like us small girls can be. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm not the same height as you. I hit 83.4
oh,
last
no,
week.
it's heavy, isn't it?
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I will have lost this week because my eating's
yeah,
just been abysmal. But
yeah,
I feel fluffier. Like my love handles feel bigger.
yeah,
I tend to hold a lot of my weight. It's weird. Like I don't get a belly. I get like extra on top of my abs here,
yeah.
and then like yeah, my love handles.
Mad, isn't it? It's mad.
Yeah,
But you know what? Like training's going really well. I had a bit of a little like quad thing that happened a couple of weeks ago, but
I
I
remember
just
you saying.
offloaded legs for a week and then just chilled. And it seems to be obviously touch wood much better than what it was. Like I did some Smith squats the other day, and granted, like I'm not a big Smith squatter, not really a barbell squatter, but
Mm,
because I don't like them, I get on with them. I just don't like them. So we put them in because I need to get used to being and stop being such a pussy as well. Like leg press, V squat is absolutely fine, but I think it's pretty badass if you have like a good strong Smith squat. So we put them in and
yeah,
they felt good. Worked up to 3 plates for like 6 or 7 reps aside, which was fine. So yeah, not too bad, not too bad. So we're just
nice.
gonna plod on. I think I've got 2 more weeks left on cycle, and then that'll be it until prep next year. So it's all such a tactical game now, isn't it? When you're a pro,
Next, so
like
are you not?
next
You,
year, this year,
I was gonna
sorry.
say.
Ugh. I get so confused with my years. I'm like 24,
Ah,
23, 22. I'm like, ugh. Um, so yeah, so probably 2 weeks more on cycle, and then that'll be it until prep, because like I said, it's such a tactical game now, isn't it? With being smart with like your drug use and stuff, is like not being on drugs for too long. And then when you think, right, if we start prep in May and you've got the Olympia, fingers crossed we qualify, it's like so many weeks on stuff. I mean, you just got to accept it if it's what you want to be. If it's what you want to do and what you want to achieve, then you just accept the risks.
Yeah.
But like, it's all about having a good like coach and athlete connection and relationship, being like, right, so we're not going to do any longer on these drugs, because we know that in possibly a couple 3 months time we're going to be running another cycle. So it's mad how tactical you have to be with it if you want to kind of say safe. I say that in very loosely, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's tell you what makes a huge difference for me is having a coach that respects that you have knowledge behind you. You know, you don't turn pro just by accident. Well, kind of did by accident, but
yeah.
But he, you know, Tom does appreciate that we know our bodies, we know what we're talking about, and like
Yeah.
I know I can go. I've had conversations with him previously where I was like, my appetite's just gone, mate. It's just gone, but I don't want
Yeah.
to diet yet. So we tried little tricks to try and boost the appetite. It's not working. It's
Yeah.
tanked,
Yeah.
and like, right, I'm in that place where I'm like, I can prep now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm ready for
I
that
mean,
transition.
how long have you been in off season now, Ray?
I started with Tom it was literally 10 days post show, the 31st of October 2021.
Oh, so you've had a long old off season.
I
Oof,
had
that's
that
a long
mini
old time.
cut when the Arnold was sort of dangled like that carrot that it
Oh,
was.
yeah.
I had that month-long mini cut where I came out with striated glutes. But other
Yeah.
than that, I've not had another 2 week kind of diet
Yeah.
break. Sorry.
She's
I feel
so
sorry for
needy.
those watching. My screen is horrendous because, like, yeah, you should
For
see
those
that.
listening, she's got a needy ass Frenchie.
Yeah, you probably hear her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is really nice to be able to have those conversations where you're working with somebody, not just being dictated to.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
important in a
I mean,
coach.
granted, like longer off seasons for women is better, in my opinion. Like instead of short blasted off seasons that a lot of guys can do,
Yeah,
longer off seasons for women is one safer and just I personally think way more productive, because you don't have to. Obviously, women naturally hold a little bit more weight than men anyway, but it seems to be harder to get off women without like risking something in those dieting phases. So you might as well have a longer off season, just accept that you're going to be struggling for a little bit, just grow, just get comfortable with being bigger and a little bit fluffier. And then when you get back on stage, it's going to be so much more like, it's going to be just so much better than you were
yeah.
previously.
There's a lot of risk involved to just present the same package over and over again.
Exactly.
Give yourself a break. Um,
Yeah.
do you wonder if we've just talked a little bit about like coaching you type stuff? I've got a question we could start off with.
Oh, let's do it. Let's ask it.
Yeah.
Bring it
Okay.
to me.
So obviously we both put a question box up. I think I did mine yesterday, you did yours today.
Yeah.
Somebody has asked, is it acceptable continue coaching if you're offering free coaching for blowjobs? No.
Oh God, no, that's
No.
definitely not. If a coach, I'd probably a man. I mean, if a woman asks for, it says they like a blowjob. Maybe question who that woman is. But like, if a male coach says he'll give you free coaching for blowjobs, then just no.
That is
Why?
sexual
What
exploitation.
is wrong with this industry, bro? Why would you do that?
I don't know, but I think that leads on nicely from what we were saying about having a coach that you can trust. And
Yeah,
if your coach is saying to you, "Oh no, actually, don't wear your posing suit. I want some nice lacy underwear," or "Can you check in topless, please?" or like, "Can you check in some see-through underwear?" Or actually, if your coach is asking you to check in anything other than what you feel comfortable in,
yeah,
some women feel more comfortable posing in shorts
yeah.
just
I
because they're
do.
self-conscious or something to start off with. That's absolutely
Yeah.
fine. If your coach is there going, no, I need you in the thong, then that
It's
ain't
stupid, mate. Like I've heard of like some like guys saying you have to check in naked. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, but it's just it's the worst when women just think that's the normal. Like, oh yeah, I'll just check in naked. Like when like the first thing I make very clear with my clients is you check in whatever you want to check in with, like, even if that's leggings and a crop top, you do you, girl. Like, whatever you feel comfortable in, just send them over. Make sure that you're, I can see everything, but make sure you're comfortable. That's first and foremost important thing to me, is that you're comfortable. And that should be across the board with any coach, male, female. You should feel comfortable doing whatever you want to do with your coach. Like, and you should also be happy to have speak to them. If you're not
Yeah.
comfortable, then be like, look, if you could just do my check-in in leggings and sports bra, that's me comfortable. And then your coach just be like, yep, that's absolutely fine. But if your coach is asking you to do these stupid, ridiculous things, sexual or non-sexual, then you should just bin them off, because it's not safe and it's not good, and it's in no way, shape, or form a professional way to, like, it's not a way to conduct yourself, really,
No,
is
not
it?
at all. I suppose the only sort of caveat to that is, say you have a client come to you who, yeah, is quite self-conscious to start off with, but wants to work towards competing. At
Mm-hmm.
some point, you're going to have that conversation of, right,
For
okay,
sure.
we need to move away from the leggings. Could we try shorts, maybe cycling shorts
Yeah.
to start off with, and then maybe shorter shorts, and eventually I need you in a bikini bottom, because ultimately, if you're going to step on stage, that can't
Yeah.
be the first time for your
Yeah.
own
Imagine
mental
getting on
health.
stage
But
in leggings and crop top.
yeah, and that
Yeah.
kind of, but there's a way of going about that that isn't just like get your kit off.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
like
It's
I would
mad.
say, if you do have a coach that's asking you to do like inappropriate things, or you're a bit concerned, or you want a temperature check, drop us a DM, drop any of the other pros a DM. I'm sure nobody would have any problems kind of going, do you know what? That's not cool. That's not okay.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
is so much of it out there.
I mean, we're not going to like name drop or anything, but there's obviously, everyone is aware that there's been a few things that have popped up, especially last year, of certain coaches that are being called out. And then a flock of these women are coming forward and being like, yeah, I experienced that as well. And even myself, I spoke to someone, this was way, way back when I got approached about something. And this person essentially said, if you send me a few shots of you before your show, so I can see, like, have a sneak peek of what you look like, because you know what I'm like, bro. I'm very conservative with showing my physique off before I get on stage. And this person messaged me, and they were like, oh, can I just, how are you looking, like, can I have a sneak peek? And I was like, well, not really, you got to wait like everyone else has. And it was like, if I send you some free product, will you just show me a picture or something? And I was like, no. And then I spoke to another girl, and she was like, oh, I've experienced the same thing. And I was like, oh my God, I thought it was literally just me. Like, he was just being a creep. But then
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like, all these women come out the woodwork, like, yeah, actually, you know what? Like, he did that to me. And then you all like just sat there like, oh, this is a problem.
yeah. I'm
So
lucky I've never had anything like that. Mine was more a communication breakdown where I
yeah,
felt I couldn't communicate with my coach, rather
yeah,
than feeling there was no line crossed as far as inappropriateness as that's concerned.
yeah,
So I can't speak for that. But yeah, it's not a nice feeling. I've had it in
mm,
other warps of life, just not
yeah,
through
yeah.
bodybuilding,
Yeah.
really.
And it's just important. Like, I'm not saying like people are dumb in any way, shape, or form. It is just a lack of knowing what's right and wrong. And like, you see these very young ladies that are going or interested in starting bodybuilding. And then obviously they have, like in my situation, someone that'd be like, oh, just send me some pictures, or I'll send you some free product if you send me like a little more, sexual
Thin.
pictures. Yeah, like, show me your boobs. Like, it's kind of like, these girls need to understand what is right and wrong. Like, the
Yeah,
bodybuilding industry, yes, there are snakes in it, and yes, there are people like this, but you need to learn how to avoid people like it if they ever approach you in these situations.
definitely.
So yeah.
Cool.
So yes, I have a coaching one, actually, to be fair.
Yeah.
Do you think female coaches will ever be given the same respect as men? How do you think it can be changed? I
Hmm.
know there's obviously more male coaches in the industry, but that's naturally something, like, it's like football. There's going to be way more male footballers than there are women footballers. And I think in bodybuilding, it's just a male dominated industry, isn't it? So I
Well,
guess if you look at, you know,
unfortunately, there is still an element to which society is very much male dominated, and that's just the way it is. Doesn't make it right, but I think ground is being made.
oh yeah, 100%. I think there are some very good female coaches out there, but I don't know. That's a bit of a tough question, to be fair, really.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
suppose
think
it's go on. You stumped
God,
us.
I got stumped on this one. I
Mm,
think, like with anything, the women bodybuilding, women in general, are coming through in this industry. It's just because there are more male coaches, it seems that male coaches are the leading part of this coaching industry, if that makes sense. just because
Yeah.
of the sheer volume, you know. And I think as well, it comes down to, oh, you know, as bad as it is, like women on drugs don't really get that much respect because they're women on drugs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and because we're on drugs, we're basically men. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, do you know? And it's just, we're just kind of just shoved to the side because people think that we make poor decisions because of the, you know, we're
Because we have the
open.
estrogen.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I can tell you, and I'm sure he won't mind. Dan got his blood work done during the week, and he has far more estrogen than I have.
Ah, well, there we go.
So
Basically a
you
woman.
can't blame the
So he
estrogen for the
is a
female poor
leading
decisioning.
female
Sorry?
coach. He's a leading female
Yeah.
coach in the industry.
Although sadly, and I mean, I say sadly, I'm shit with names anyway. I'm sat here trying to think of a leading female coach in the industry.
I mean, Jamie Pinder's good. She's an absolute
Um,
legend, but she's
I
more
had a
open.
name.
I think. Oh my god, I got awful gas. Anyone listening to this is just going to hear me being like, um, yeah, Jamie Pinder. Megan Cuba's missus, I've heard is all right. I can't really say much on the subject. I
No.
don't really follow her coaching. I just follow her as a bodybuilder.
Yeah, same. I
Yeah,
know I've had multiple conversations with people that were coached by a certain coach that have gone to her and are having a better experience.
yeah. Mitchell and Maycock, I've heard she's very good. I think if I was to move to a coach, if I didn't have Tom, Mitchell might be the one. Just
Mm,
because she coaches oh, I forgot her name. I'm so sorry. Someone who, one of Sammy's mates, basically, and she's like incredible. She's coming up in WPD, and she's
mm.
coached by Mitchell, and she says she's had a good experience with her.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I there's obviously like
Lucy, that's who's coached by Mitchell. I'm sorry, I had to put it in there because I feel bad for missing her name.
I'd say like I know people that are coached by Babs,
Yeah,
Barbara Kiss, and have had very good experiences with Babs.
yeah.
There's obviously Amanda Winston, she's got Carly as a pro.
Big Amanda
But I don't they kind of they're conditioning coaches
as
as a
a whole,
brand
really, isn't it?
now.
Yeah,
So I don't know where the lines stop between who does what within the. So it's a bit
yeah,
difficult to highlight her as a up and coming female because she's under that umbrella, but she still
yeah.
is. I don't know if I'm explaining.
Mm.
I'm very tired, people, by the way.
No, I think it will change much like
Yeah.
anything, but I think you just need to give it time. I think women also, because of, this is a hugely loose term, but like because I feel like a lot of women have like confidence issues or feel very shadowed in whether they can say what they want to say. They probably don't put out on social media that they're happy to, like, they're confident in coaching and stuff like that. I mean, maybe that's a stupid fucking thing to say, but like, do you see where I'm coming
But
from? Like,
I suppose there's less like obviously you have the alpha maleness. There is an
yeah,
alpha femaleness, but I think we just generally tend to. I don't want to say brag or arrogant because they're negative words, but
mm,
essentially it is that part that makes people more confident and outspoken.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know. It's like, I mean, Dan and I had a conversation about it this morning because I'm dipping my toe into the coaching
Ooh,
world.
yeah.
Hit me a DM, just not all at once.
Hit me up. Yeah.
And once something he said to me was like, you can't come across as if you're doubting yourself,
Mm,
which I find quite difficult because
yeah.
I'm not very good at coming across in a confident way with my own ability. I'm a confident
Yeah.
person, but I've always been taught to be humble. So it is very difficult, that
Mm,
line between being sort of selling yourself and becoming across as arrogant. In my head, it's quite a narrow line.
yeah. Yeah. That's definitely something that comes with time. I
Mm,
think. I think. But yeah, I think coming back to the initial question, I think it will change like anything.
mm.
I think anything like women slash male, like football, sports, anything in general, we are making our way. It just takes time.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely.
But yes. What's the
Definitely.
next question, Romana?
Um, so we've got a couple of Olympia-based
Oh,
questions.
nice. Hit me up.
So what did you think of the WPD and their placings at the Olympia? Also, who has your favorite physique? I love Brooke Walker's physique. Happy New Year to you both.
Happy New Year.
From Daniela.
Haha. Lovely person.
Yeah.
Well, You know what? I thought Natalia should have won anyway. I didn't think Sarah really looked on this year. I mean, we're saying this about fucking Olympians, like they're the best of the best, but
We're
compare
just going.
here's to like, yeah. Um, and I think, yeah, Sarah looked weirdly soft. She looks very flat this year, actually. But I
Yeah,
think that's because she wasn't very full. Like, if that makes sense.
the
Not her
thing is,
full self.
there's something about her physique that's well, it's not about her physique. There's something about the photos that bothers me slightly,
Oh
and I
yeah.
think I've figured out what it is. And this
Is it
sounds
her
really,
bikini?
yeah,
Yes. Yeah. A lot
tiny
of people said that.
triangles. They were like
Yeah.
friggin' nipple
Just like nipple
tassels.
covers.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
it just made her physique look weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
What they were trying
Um,
to do with it, like show off more pec muscle because she doesn't have implants or everything anything. So it is a good area that she can obviously show off muscle that is perhaps covered up by breast implant in other women.
yeah.
But it
But
just
I don't know.
yeah,
It does look very strange, doesn't it? And
yeah.
a lot of people were saying this year that her posing was off.
Oh really?
Yeah, I was reading like a few forums and shit like that, and people were saying like her posing just wasn't where it should have been. Like I did watch a video, and she doesn't really. Her posing was just strange this year. It just didn't.
Mm,
It wasn't like a string of front double, rear double. Like it was just a string of weird little things. Like she'd go to the side, do like a glute contraction, and then like her vacuum, and it was very much like see my glutes, see my front, see my glutes. It wasn't like a
oh
full package
yeah.
individual presentation. It was very bitty.
Oh
But yeah, it just seemed like a very strange. I know what she tried to do was come in softer this year. She put out a post and that she said she wanted to try and come in softer. And so after prejudging, she actually showered to sort of reduce the darkness of her tan, so it made her look
yeah.
softer. Obviously, they didn't want that. They wanted
No.
Natalia's look.
Yeah.
And I think Natalia just absolutely blew everyone out the water.
Yeah, she did.
She
It was
just looked fucking incredible. Like when she came out for her individual presentation, I mean, she just, well, nah, game over, mate, game over.
the mic drop.
Yeah, exactly. She was just incredible.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that was well deserved. I know, like, I love Sarah. I think she was an amazing ambassador for the sport. What she's done
Yeah.
for women's physique in general, like putting her own money in for Texas that like last year was nuts. And
Totally.
like that's 15 grand of her own money that she's put in for our category to win. Do you know what I mean? Obviously Brooke Walker was third, wasn't she?
Yeah, no, she looked insane as well.
Yeah, Brooke Walker's always got a great little physique. Like I I didn't know whether she'd been running for Miss O because I think Natalia is going to be probably up there for a good few years.
Yeah, it is going to be like that now, isn't it?
And then it was Ivy, and then it was, or was it Barbara then Ivy?
Uh,
Big Barb's.
Barbara. I think it was Barbara.
And then Ivy. I like
Yeah,
Barbara. I think she's an
I like
absolute
Ivy.
legend. But rumor has it, I was obviously following the female bodybuilding channel, and they reckon obviously Ivy and Barbara are now classed as masters.
Mm.
So whether they will not do the main Olympia this year, but instead do the masters,
To be fair, I'm also Masters.
are you actually go for it, mate?
I thought it was
What is
35.
masters 35 up?
Yeah, I think so.
That seems very young.
Hmm. I
Youth.
wouldn't, at this point, I wouldn't do Masters.
No.
Although I was watching Kelly's show and chatting to actually Barbara Kiss back
Yeah.
in the summer, and she was debating doing Masters this year as well as
Mm.
Open because you can win more money in Masters. Like the
See, I
category,
heard that. Yeah. Oh, okay. So do you reckon they'll probably stay at main Olympia and then do masters as well?
I don't know.
I
But
don't
if
know
they,
what. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
they bring back the Masters Olympia, then that's
it would be
opening the
sick.
doors, isn't it?
I wonder whether that.
I don't really know how I feel about it when it comes to bodybuilding because other sports, like with athletics, having masters, obviously, as you get older, your speed drops off. So
Yeah.
instead of sprinting against these 18-year-olds that are like a whippet up a drain pipe,
Yeah.
you're sprinting against people that are the same age, so have had the same decline in their fast twitch spark fibers. But obviously, with bodybuilding, the older you are, the more time you've had to build muscle and the more mature that muscle is.
Yeah.
So actually, is it an advantage being older? Hmm.
Well, there we go then. Flip that on its head. Bam. I think it is personally. But then you
Yeah,
look at Natalia and you think, well, that's
that's what I
completely
keep
banana.
telling myself.
Yeah, just I'm gonna get better as I get older.
Like a fine wine, mature with age.
But I think it was an incredible Olympia this year. Although I was surprised about some of the later placings. Like I wasn't expecting Anne to be at seventh.
No, and Rachel Dennis as well.
Yeah,
Daniels.
Rachel Daniels got beaten by the girl that beat me at Legions.
I don't know why. I can never remember that she's Daniels and not Dennis. I did it once and it's just
Rachel
stuck in my
Dennis.
head. Sorry. Oh, Dennis. Ah,
Yeah, it's
it's the
Daniels.
dyslexia. D's. I get confused.
But yeah, that was mad. I saw that and I was like, oh,
Her
squeaky bum
upper
time.
seemed quite small. It seemed to downsize quite a lot.
I thought that. I mean, it's mad. Like when you look at these get like these ladies and you think like on Instagram they look huge, but then when they stand up against each other, it like you're like not smallest, but
Right.
your weaknesses really like shine through. And
Mm.
I mean, I love Rachel Daniels. I think she's got a great physique and I love her work ethic. But for her to place 13th behind the girl that beat like Yvonne who beat me at Legions, who Yvonne, I don't really know her backstory, but she's obviously not nearly as experienced as Rachel in the pro leagues. A lovely woman. She's got great potential, don't get me wrong. But to be beaten by a seasoned pro is like sorry for her for a seasoned pro to be beaten by someone who's not a seasoned is mad.
Mm.
Considering Rachel had such a good beginning to the season as well, just
I
when we
know.
spoke to her anyway.
Mm.
Mad, isn't it?
Mm.
Mad.
Sorry, that allowed me to choose some chocolate.
I thought you were eating like a date or something.
No, no, it's just some dark chocolate.
Just
Um,
some dark chalky. But yeah,
yeah, it was weird, wasn't it?
I'm
Those.
looking at the
I
old
wonder if,
thingy.
in a way, Anne's glutes are too big for WPD now.
Yeah, what do you reckon she'll be another one that moves up to build bodybuilding?
Maybe
I
it's
like
so
Anne,
difficult. Yeah, definitely.
but I do think she's a bit blocky.
Yeah,
Maybe.
she has
I
got
think,
quite a waist.
yeah, I do think the way physique is going is going to be very based on like very shape based. I mean, Natalia is dense as fuck. Don't get me wrong, but
She's
she
got
has
that nice
lush.
tiny little
Oh,
waist.
exactly. Like nice wide shoulders, nice quads. Like, and her presentation is great. I think, yeah, I honestly think she was untouchable. Melissa, is it Tech? Because I'm looking at the thingy now.
She poses quite weirdly, doesn't she? She
Yeah,
sort
she
of
does like this weird hop, skip, and jump between her double bicep. Yeah, and the pew
uh,
pew and the guns. Yeah, she's moving up to bodybuilding.
yeah, because
She's
she is
Miss
huge.
Beast on Instagram, I believe.
Yeah, I look at her and I'm like, I could never step on stage at WPD and
She's a
fight
big
anyone.
girl, isn't she? I looked at her at Texas last year. She won Texas, I believe. And she was just huge. Just huge.
I don't know her actual name, but Ivy Strong on Instagram. I'll see
Ivy
if I can.
Strong. Why do I recognize that name? That's not Pam, is it?
Ashley.
Pamela.
Ashley.
Pamela. Ashley. Oh,
Because I was showing Dan her the other day, and he was
I'm gonna
like,
have a look.
"Today's what? Is that gonna?
Oh,
It was
Ashley
just like,
Jones. Oh yeah, she's mad. Yeah, I've got a picture of her up now.
can you? At some point, I will learn how to share my screen.
What was she at the Olympia? Was she?
Yeah, judging by the big photo, it was her Olympia debut with a top two, potentially top 10 finish.
Oh, dude, she's mad.
She is sick. If anything, I think she could be harder. Sorry, I'm watching her video. Um,
Yeah, I
but
agree.
she's got some sick ass potential there.
Oh, full show. She
Yeah,
reminds me of oh, who did Sarah beat a while ago? I can't remember her name. But
no,
the lady that beat was beyond before Sarah, she reminds
yeah,
me very much of her.
yeah, she's sick.
Mad bellies.
She is sick. So
Yeah,
yeah, she's one of my favorites as well.
yeah. Well, there's some good potential coming up, girl.
Oats,
Some good
both.
potential coming up.
Um,
So totes oats. And
I've
speaking
got
of
the other
Beb,
Olympia question, just while we're on the O.
I don't. Well, as we're on the O, um, we could just go on to who was our first WPD inspiration.
Oh, oh.
Mine was obviously Dana Lynn Bailey.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit later to the bodybuilding party. I
I,
think, pardon?
I,
Well, considering I was like well in my 30s before I started on stage, and I was too busy following people like Brooke Wells before then, and like Brooke Ents. They're all Brooks in CrossFit.
Oh,
Um,
Brooks.
all the Brooks, and the daughters, Thora's daughters,
Oh yes, all the
daughters.
oh,
Um,
yeah,
I think the first person who I sort of was paying attention to with WPD was Rachel.
yeah, yeah. You can't
Um,
not pay attention to Rachel because she's such a dominating person.
but I think it's more her style.
Yeah.
Like she's got that like street edge to her. And
Mm.
I'm not street at all, but it was always the slightly
Romana
more
down with the
alternative
kids.
side of life.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, when
I
like
think,
when we spoke to her, she seemed like there was a lot of things that were like, oh my God, like that's like when she said about I wouldn't let anyone get in my way, be that blood or not, like that really hit home. And I thought, you know what, she's actually speaking to us as if we're like people that have known each other for years. And I think
mm,
that's one part of Rachel that's is really lovely because you now get to know an Olympian on a personal level, and not many people let you in like that.
no,
And you know,
no.
it
I'd
really,
like
I
to
think she's
try
just an
and get
amazing
her back on
person.
again because I missed most of that, didn't I? I had to go to work.
Oh yes, you did. Yeah, just an
Mm,
incredible person,
yeah,
physique and mindset wise, just incredible. But yeah, like when Dana and Bailey won the Olympia, which was the first Miss Olympia, Miss Physique Olympia, so that was 2013. I just thought I just fell in love. Like I'd been following Dana for like years, and she did like this prep series on YouTube. So this was when she
yeah,
had her warehouse with like the the grungy metal music playing in the
yeah,
background and
yeah. That's
like
when Flag North Fail first started, wasn't it?
exactly, yeah. And she did an
Yeah,
Olympia and an Olympia and an Arnold series, and like these videos got so raw. And I think she actually let you show how hard it is and the pressure that she put on herself to be who she was. And
yeah,
like her training is exactly how I wouldn't say exactly how I train, but it took a lot of inspiration for how I train now. Is just a volume on volume at like just giant sets, like super sets, everything, anything, just throw it all at the kitchen sink. Do you know what I mean? And I thought she's badass because she wasn't long hair, like big titted, like
yeah,
fake. She was just some badass girl, like trying to make a way through bodybuilding, making a living, being who she was. And
yeah,
that really shone to me because the industry is so fake nowadays with people trying to be who they're not. And Dana just really showed me that, it's actually okay to be a short haired girl with no tits. Like, and you fucking rock that too. Like, don't
yeah,
think you have to be someone you're not because some people out there will like you for who you are. And that really shone to me because I used to struggle a lot when I was younger. I used to get
yeah.
bullied for being like a lesbian.
I used to get
No,
bullied
like
because I wore glasses and had
yeah, no,
dyslexia.
like yeah, and I always had short hair. I was always outgoing, like as in like I'd wear these stupid fucking trousers, and I was quite emo, so I'd wear like just what I mean. And I used to get bullied and shit like that. And
I have been known to wear a skirt over flares.
oh, you're that
Welcome
kind
to
of
the
person, are
90s.
you?
Hmm.
Fuck yeah,
Hmm.
I still
Yeah,
do that on the daily.
yeah.
Jokes, I don't do that.
Lots of neon, lots of spikiness,
Fuck yeah,
and yeah,
exactly. So
fun.
yeah, so it kind of just shone to me, and it was like my only escape was watching those Dana and Bailey videos and being like, "Fuck me, she is awesome."
Might have to
So,
go and watch them now.
oh, honestly, mate, don't watch them before bed because you get all fired up. So, as in, like, not
Well, mate,
sexually, like
I'll
gym
watch them
fired up.
for my next leg day.
Yeah, I'll do it. It honestly, they're so well done, and because obviously Rob's really good with his music and stuff,
Yeah,
they're just brilliant, and it just shows you the rawness of prep. Like, too many people put unicorns and rainbows on prep when really 95% of the time you're there like, oh, I'm a bit tired. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
I'm really
so
tired.
yeah,
I'd rather piss myself than get off the sofa tired.
yeah, innit? So yeah,
If
I
I could be
think
catheterized for prep, that would be ace.
so yeah, I think it'd be Dana. She's an incredible woman,
Fair one.
incredible, and it would be amazing if she made a comeback, but I don't think she will.
Hmm.
So
I've
yeah.
got one more Olympia-based question, which is our
Oh yes.
thoughts on the changes in the rules, um, from being able to compete by accumulating points versus being able to compete just by winning. Hey,
Ah, Danielle,
Daniela, the estrogen,
the top female coach.
hey, top female coach. Oh, oh, oh.
So yeah.
Yes, yes, we are recording. We've been sat here for like 40 minutes. Of course, we're recording. No, we got on with it tonight.
Yeah, we smashed it. We're
Okay.
smashing it.
Yeah, so
Um,
thoughts on only being able to qualify for the O by winning a show?
uh, I personally I like it. I think it kind of it cuts down the numbers because obviously the numbers were pretty excessive this year of the Olympia. I think it if you have too many people there, it cuts the prestigiousness of the show. It's just another show.
Literally, which is like, I don't know. I think people, I've been told like basically if I'm going to go to the O, it's going to be on points. Well, now it's not. So
Uh,
I don't know whether people were maybe expecting me to be a bit like, oh, I think it's wank. No, I think actually it keeps the prestige of the competition by you
exactly.
can only get there by winning. It's the way it should be.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. Like you've got the best of the best. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
So it kind of it cut. I mean, I listen to like other podcasts and stuff. It doesn't cut many people out of the open and stuff like that. It's like 3 or 5 men, but like
yeah.
it's still you still have to
Well,
go and you have to win and you have to
how
qualify that
many
way.
how many bikini were there? There were
Like
quite a lot.
60 or something like that.
Yeah, and men's physique, I think.
Yeah. They were also discussing whether cutting down the amount of shows to do. But then it's like if you cut any more WPD shows, you won't have any shows to do.
Well, I suppose there are a lot of WPD shows that's just stateside,
Yeah. Is there that many though?
and there is one less European WPD show this year,
Hmm.
I think,
Oh,
because
maybe.
there
I don't
was
know.
meant because this last year, 2020, when I was
Yeah.
talking to Tom about shows for 23, I was aiming to do the three European ones at the end of the season,
Yeah.
but there's now only two European ones, I
Oh.
think,
Oh damn. Okay
Alicante and
then.
Romania. There was
Yeah.
normally another Spain one.
Oh yes, there was, wasn't there? I know the one you're on about. Yes. Yeah, but I definitely think like this is no bias to bodybuilding or whatever or bikini or men's physique, but there is an excessive amount of shows, like hence why they get fucking 60 people there. Like I think even for men's physique, there was like 60 guys or something stupid like that. Like
Yeah.
either just just either cut the shows down or do something else. I don't know. I
Mm.
don't know what that else is, but it
I
just
don't know
seems
what the answer
excessive.
is.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know
No,
how many women's physique girls there were in total.
no, I don't
I
know. I
can't
don't. I
remember.
can't be asked to look.
But yeah. But yeah, so I agree with that. I think it's a much better way, a much better approach
Yeah.
to
Um.
yeah.
So what was another question? Another good one I had was, um, do with me.
We are now watching an older lady work her phone.
Yeah.
So it is.
Yeah. Is it worth getting bloods done as a natural?
Yeah, it is. It's worth getting your bloods done regardless whether you're on or not.
Regardless of whether you use performance enhancers or not, if you're going to go through a calorie deficit diet, it will tank everything.
Exactly.
Whether
So
you are enhanced or natural, that will you will still take a hit with your hormones.
yeah, yeah.
So
Because your body's not supposed to be in a horrendous deficit for a long period of time.
we're
So
not
if you
designed to live
that
with low
yeah,
body. And I would say
exactly.
it's even more crucial for women than it is for men.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree with that.
Um, because I wonder sometimes if the show blues that people have isn't the show blues,
Mm.
it's your hormones making your mood absolutely fucked.
Yeah, I think mix that with whatever's going on. I think it would make a lot of sense, a lot
Yeah,
of sense. But yeah, I think it'd be silly if you're doing if even if you're not doing bodybuilding, if you're doing other intense sports like gymnastics,
yeah,
like athletics, football, whatever, you should be getting regular like bloods done just to see where you're at, see
yeah,
where you need help. Like if you need help with something, then you can see what needs to be improved, like that kind of thing. So it's always
exactly.
worth getting your bloods done no matter whether you're not in bodybuilding or not, or you're natural or not. It's very important to see where you're at
I think
physiologically.
it. I think it's something that has sort of been highlighted a lot more through the pandemic. Is this kind of health prevention
Yeah.
aspect? Blood work, it can show up precursor to diabetes. It can show up thyroid
Thyroid.
problems. It can show up if you're anemic. It can show up if you've got inflammation, if your kidneys are struggling, if you've got liver problems, all of these sorts of things that
Yeah.
are treatable and reversible.
Mm.
It's better to know than not know. And I think too many people are worried about the outcome of the results, where
Yeah.
it's like actually when you know, knowledge is power. You can fix it. If you don't know,
Yeah,
it's bad.
exactly. And
Mm.
like following off the back end of that, someone also asked, should you come off a cycle before doing bloods? And if yes, how long off cycle before?
I think that I've had this conversation with Mr. Crossland. So um, it all depends what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So if you want to know how badly that prep and your potential PED usage has tanked your body, then getting it done as you finish would be great.
Is that like
If,
just literally after you finish? So say I finish my cycle now and I got my bloods done tomorrow. Is that kind of what you're saying?
yeah, yeah, you could
Okay.
do that. Um, if you're wanting to know like how well your body has recovered from the prep, then yeah, leave it quite a few weeks. But what I would say is by doing that, you're leaving this gap of potentially fixable stuff
Yeah.
floating around. It could be, if you are using anabolics, it could be that your red blood cells and your hematocrit have increased. So you may
Yeah.
need a bloodlet to feel better. You're not going to
Mm,
know that unless you get your bloods done. It
yeah.
might be that actually you've come off cycle, your hormones are in the toilet, you need a bit of TRT, but you won't know that unless you get your
Yeah.
hormones checked.
Because
Um,
I've always ever done bloods, so I've always come off cycle or come off prep, left it 8 weeks ish, and then done bloods. I've never,
yeah,
admittedly, done bloods on a cycle or straight after, but it would be probably really interesting to do that to see what actually happens
yeah.
where I'm at with my hormones when I'm on a cycle.
I suppose the only other thing to say with females is, those that are enhanced, the level, well, it's proportionate again, though, isn't it? I was
Mm,
about to say, like, your things like your liver and kidneys and your red blood cells may take less of a hit, female, because of the anabolic load that you'll be using. But
yeah,
actually, that's proportionate to what your body can tolerate. So I
exactly.
think it's still important to know where your levels are at post a prep,
Yeah,
to know whether your liver and your kidneys have taken that hit.
yeah, yeah. So basically, what you're saying, right, I think, is you can take it on cycle straight after a prep or 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks after
Yeah,
you finish the prep.
yeah,
So it just depends what you want to get out of it and
exactly,
yeah, what you're looking
exactly.
to find. But
Yeah, I'm sort of
regardless,
trying.
go to
Sorry.
eval and go to Romana and get your bloods done.
Yeah, there is that. Other companies are available. I
Just
am
eval.
very biased in the fact that, like, Mr. Crossland knows his shizzle.
Yeah, like I'm not well, I am being biased, but if I I've had really bad experiences with other companies. I only ever use Row now and only ever use eval and I've not had any issues.
Apart
So
from
and
you did go a
like I
little bit
had
dizzy.
yeah, well we won't tell anyone about that because people should know I'm hardcore.
Yeah, you were very
Whereas
hardcore.
Dan was just feeding me sweeties.
Eat these, eat these. Which, for the record, were my Halloween sweets that the lovely Carol from work gave me. That Dan put on the
Oh,
highest shelf that I couldn't reach, and then proceeded to ransack the whole bucket.
I love that. Well, that was
Yeah,
my own fault for not eating before
yeah,
blood tests, bloodlet, and then obviously an IV. So that was grand. So I won't be doing
yeah,
that again.
yeah.
Um, but
Next
yeah, like
time, maybe we'll do your bloods, have something to eat, we'll do the let, and then we'll do your
yeah,
ID.
that's what I'm thinking. I
Yeah.
was thinking that in the car actually the other day. I was like, why did I do that? Like, such an idiot. I had a client, my lovely client Katie, come to you the other
Yes,
day,
she
and then
did.
she sent her bloods to me yesterday, and I'm
Oh,
like, oh,
sweet.
yeah, it was
So
so
what
quick. I said to Katie, I was like, oh my God, Thursday you did it.
Thursday.
What day are
So
we on now? Well, no, it was Tuesday, wasn't it? I don't know. Fucking, I lose my date. But it was quick.
it was Wednesday
Yeah.
because she'd originally booked for 10:30 a.m. and I was coming off at night and I had to say to her, is there any chance you could come at 12:30, please?
Oh yes, it was because I was training legs at the time. She was training. She's I'll go and see Ro for my blood's done later.
Yeah,
And I was like, okay, yeah. And she sent them to me yesterday. And I was like, oh my lordy, like
it's
that was
very quick.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose it was
And
just the hormone markers. And
yeah.
they have so eval have opened their own independent lab. So at the moment,
Okay.
I'm collecting two samples, sending one to the old lab and one to the new lab to calibrate. So I don't know whether that's making a
Uh,
difference with how quickly,
maybe. But
because
yeah, I sent all my clients to Unaro, all my
yeah,
clients to eval because I've never had any issues. Whereas previous like companies, I have had major issues. So you're spending all that money and only
yeah,
getting half the results, which I've experienced with other companies, and it's not on because it's a lot of money. Obviously, we do
yeah,
it because we want to see where we're at, and we're very we need to know where we're at health mark wise. But like yeah, you're spending all that money, and I'm not going to waste it on a company that is only giving me half the result that I pay for. So, eval are the only people I go to now.
I'm trying to think. The only real hiccup I've had was where I did a clinic and I put the samples too close to an ice block in
Oh,
like
okay.
cool bag, and that messed with the samples. But
Mm,
then literally I had to contact everyone individually and go back and redo those samples.
yeah,
So we will do everything we can to rectify the problem if there is a problem. And
yeah,
like, I mean, that was down in Bodmin, so that cost me the fuel to get there on
mm,
another day and the time
yeah.
without, I don't get paid for that, but it's still like, sorry, I'm getting a Frenchie.
Collecting the
Still
Frenchie
need to
again.
make sure that we're providing that service. So
Yeah,
it was my fuck
exactly.
up. I had to rectify it.
There we go then. So if you ever need to get your bloods done, go and see Romana next to.
I think that was all of my questions, other than one about nipples.
You had one about nipples.
I had one about
Of course,
nipples.
there's always a
If anyone
nipple
can guess
question.
who that came from,
Oh, I think I know who that came from.
if you could substitute your nipples for something, what would you choose? Can't be Haribo eggs. I think this is a good question to finish on, to be fair.
I actually, yeah, I have one more to be honest.
Oh,
So do you
go with
want
that
to?
one.
Should I do this one and then we'll do the
Yeah.
nipple question?
Yeah.
So, how do we deal with annoying people slash clever comments about your diet, supplementation, your masculinity? The list is endless because this young lady was like, I'm really interested about it because I find it really hard to deal with.
Don't feed the trolls, block and delete.
That is exactly it. Like if I see something that's like, oh my god, why is that dude wearing a bra? I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna block and delete you. Because why are you going out of your way to be a cunt? Like
Yeah.
it's so unnecessary. And you know what? Like we've spoken about this time and time again on this podcast, but it's our fucking decision. We're not doing it to please you. We're doing it for ourselves. So
What I
yeah,
what I would say is there's been a couple of comments that have bothered me. One was in real life, and
yeah,
they weren't intending to be harmful. That was the one
yeah,
that thought I was a tranny, and that was
mm,
just yeah.
yeah,
The other one was that wasn't even to do with bodybuilding actually, so it's not particularly relevant.
yeah,
Just somebody replying to one of my comments about the NHS strike, and like I don't. That's not to do with. So yeah, again, It's not bodybuilding related, so it's not relevant.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I think it is. We can't necessarily understand why a particular comment might resonate more than others.
mm,
Um, I think it's just trying to put it to the back of your mind and
yeah.
take seek
Like
support from those that do appreciate you and see you for who you are. And
exactly. Yeah, I mean, like it's we're all going to naturally feel a bit shitty. It's like the whole thing, you get 200 comments and one is negative. You're going to be thinking about that one negative comment over the 199 other positive comments saying how amazing you are. It's only natural to feel this way,
yeah,
but it's very much having like self-confidence and being or having the ability to be like, you know what, I'm bigger and better than you. I don't know why you're so low life that you're gonna go out your way to make a comment make me feel like shit. And at the end of the day, like you should use it as fuel. So if
yeah,
someone's telling, oh, you're not gonna do anything, you just look like a man, but like, oh, you know what? Have you seen these pictures of me on stage? Have you seen this? Have you seen that? Like, I don't think I look like a man. I'm proud of who I am. I'm confident in my own skin, and watch me rock this stage because I'm going to be so much better than what you are currently. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just using that as fuel to just keep smashing whatever you're doing because it's just so unnecessary.
I suppose I also kind of come from the angle because I'm not so good with the putting self-confidence on myself thing, but I
Yeah,
come from the angle where it's like, how sad and pathetic is your life that you
mm,
are that upset by what I'm doing that you feel that you need to spend the time to write something nasty. Like,
exactly.
where is your life at that
Yeah,
you have time in your day to not only think it but also write it?
exactly. And then when it comes to like diet and training, like I had a page rip me apart on one of my training sets
Oh
just
yes.
because it wasn't the norm or what they deemed socially acceptable to do when I'm training. At the end of the day, your diet, your training, your nutrition, your PD cycle is designed for you.
Yeah,
Like it's not designed for anyone else. What
yeah,
works for you works for you. Like, for example, I don't deadlift, I don't get on with it, so I
no,
don't do it. And it's
yeah.
the same with you, bro. Like
There's
what we
I think the list of things I can't do is probably longer than the list of things I can't do.
But
Hey,
like
can do.
my training is very different to yours, Ro,
Yeah,
right? Because we're two different, very different people.
I'm old
And
as fuck.
if someone's like questioning you or making fun of your diet, nutrition, training, whatever, how do they know what's right for you? They're not you. Like, just ignore them and just
Yeah.
block and delete, like Ro said. Like, it's not worth your time. It's
Do
absolutely
not
not worth your
feed
time.
the trolls.
Exactly. Or feed them just with funny memes.
Yeah, yeah. Unless it's not never, unless it's that never gonna lie thing. In which case, pay for it and then find out who it is and make their life.
Yes. Yeah. But
Post
that's
dog
all the
shit through their
questions I got,
letterbox.
to be fair. Was that?
Post dog shit through their letterbox.
Exactly. Just post all of the shits through the
Can
letterbox.
I just show you this in it, right?
What is Manu doing? For anyone not watching but listening, there's Dan has a little doggy called Manu, and he's just jumping around with his toy in his mouth. Kind of looks like he's possessed a little bit.
Around and like bucking with it.
Look at him go.
Anyway, that's enough money. Meanwhile, Ruby's just like
Ruby's so gentle.
she's debating, going, oh,
There she goes. Play with me, Manu.
yeah.
So
Anywho,
cute.
they're gonna
But
get
that's
well noisy now.
oh god, well noisy. But
I
that's
think.
all of the questions I had.
Oh, the nipples one.
Oh, the nipples, yeah. I would definitely replace my nipple. I would say Percy pigs, but they're too big. I have relatively small nipples.
Minstrels.
Oh, that's a good shout, to be fair. That's a good shout. Maybe like a chocolate button or something. What would you replace your nipples with, Dan? The look on this man's face.
Haribo.
Oh,
Can't be Haribo eggs.
can't be fried eggs.
No, the Tankastics. That'd be sour.
Ooh.
Oh God. Imagine that nipple.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's minstrel.
note.
Sounds good.
I think I'm gonna have to end this now, being as
yeah, that's absolutely fine. We'll end on a nipple note.
on the nipple note with two dogs going bonkers
Yeah.
in the living room.
But yeah, we'll try and do Q&As a little bit more often because we're getting like what I find with Q&As is sometimes it takes a little bit of time for people to come out the woodwork. Like whatever you want to ask, even what about Ray, if you put an anonymous one up and I put like a normal one up or vice versa, whatever.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people don't want to ask questions with people knowing who it is.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, then we can do that just because we might get a little bit more of a flow of small, like intricate questions about PED cycles and stuff like that, which, me and Ro are pretty open about everything and anything. We'll just answer whatever it is. So just send it in and we'll answer those questions.
Yeah, totes.
But
cool.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you. And remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe and ring the little bell or whatever. And then obviously if you want to see more, then just let us know how much and what of you want to see more of. That makes sense.
Totally. Cool.
All right. Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.